Dima. Welcome everybody. So we'll be doing a restorative practice together for our time today. So some suggested things that you might have with you are some water or tea, a yoga strap. If you don't have a yoga strap, perhaps use a scarf. It's also helpful. Some blankets or cushions and some yoga blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks, then thick, heavy like textbooks work as well. And if you don't have any of those things, then just make do with what you have. This is where we get to improvise and be creative. So, yoga is a holistic system that allows us to journey inward. And in traditional yoga, we have the asana, but we also have mudra and mantra and all of these different tools, if you will, that allow us to take that journey deeper. So today, we'll begin with our meditation as usual. If it's comfortable for you, come and sit up. If your lower back or hips are tight, you can sit on a cushion or on a blanket. Cross-legged if that works, or Ardha Padmasana, half lotus. If your body needs to lie down, then please come into a child's pose or lay flat on your back. And then just start to come into your breath. And just start to notice what's true for you in this moment. There's nothing to change. It's an opportunity to just be present with what is. And to allow what we're present to be the vehicle that takes us deeper into the heart space. So as you are coming into your meditation, dhyan, sometimes coming into meditation can be challenging, so it's helpful if we have something to focus our mind on. Single pointed concentration. This is dharan. This is the step in the 8 limbs of yoga, the step just before coming into true dhyan. And of course, pranayam and asana and all of these things are also tools, so we will come into those as well. So for now, just be present with your breath. Let it be what it is. Coming into the body, feeling Mama Earth holding and supporting us. The Samaveda says, the self resides in the lotus of the heart. Knowing this, consecrated to the self, the seer enters daily that sacred sanctuary. Absorbed in the self, the seer is freed from identity with the body and emerges in pure consciousness. So we'll just hold to that. So maybe take Padma Mudra. So it's the lotus mudra where we bring our pinkies and the base of our palms and our thumbs together, fingers stretched wide. And just bring that right to your heart. And we are going to enter into the sanctuary of our own divinity, our own heart space, and we'll create a lot of space in the body this evening, so that our travel will be a little lighter, a little more at ease. So we'll feel more at ease in the body. It's really hard to heal emotionally and spiritually and mentally when our bodies are in pain. So asana, the postures of yoga, allow us to heal physically our bodies, the ailments that plague us, so that we can connect more deeply with self, so that we can feel our emotions and allow them to act as guru, so that we can be present with our experience and our trauma and allow that too to act as guru, as guide. So close your eyes only if that feels comfortable. If not, focus your gaze on one point, Dasi, perhaps even looking at this mudra that you're holding. And imagine going into that heart space. And just let the breath easefully take you there. So we're not forcing anything. We're not changing anything. We're just breathing in, and we're aware that we're breathing in. And we're breathing out, and we're aware that we're breathing out. The self resides in the lotus of the heart. Knowing this, consecrated to the self, the seer enters daily that sacred sanctuary. Absorbed in the self, capital S self. The seer, that's you, that's me, is freed from the identity with body and emerges in pure consciousness. Before we can transcend this beautiful state of being stuck in the body, we first have to accept this and receive this and honor our humanity. It's by honoring these earthen vessels, these jars of clay, as the Bible would put it. It's in honoring these vessels that we can come into what these vessels contain, the truth of that treasure that is right here in this earthen vessel, in this jar of clay. So let your breath just continue to take you into that space, just landing in the body, landing in this moment. And I'm going to pray our mantra of invocation, calling in our gurus and our guides, our beloveds, to come and to be with us and to aid us in this journey. Tatparam darshitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha dhyanmulam guru murti pujamulam guru param mantramulam Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadrakali Kapalani Durga Kshama Shivaratri Swaha Swadha Namostute Rupam Nehi Jayam Nehi Yasho Nehi Ruisho Jahi Rupam Nehi Jayam Nehi Okay, so when you're ready, just slowly begin to open your eyes if they aren't already open. And let's just come into, so we're just going to stretch our legs out in front of us, coming into Dandasana, staff pose. So again, if your lower back is tight, sit on a cushion, and we will stretch those legs out in front of us. Okay, and just feel this for a moment. Now, not even trying to change our posture or fix anything. We have this idea that we just have to fix things. No fixing. Observing. What are we noticing? Are we kind of caving in here in the heart space? Is there a rounding in the lower back? Well, that's because our hips are tight. So this very compassionate, loving thing we can do for ourselves is just create a foundation that's more suitable for us in this moment. So give yourself another blanket or another cushion, and then try that. Come to sit on the edge of those folded blankets. Legs are stretched out in front. We might notice that now the shoulders stay back with a little more ease. Perhaps there's less rounding in the back. There might still be some rounding in the back, and that is okay. So just feel this. Now, if we're stacked up on more than one blanket, there's likely some space underneath our knees. So this is where we'll take one more blanket, roll it up, and just place it underneath the knees. So this is restorative yoga. We get to give ourselves ample support. So once you feel pretty secure here, just let those shoulders fall back, allow the heart to lift, and let the breath come down toward the pelvic floor. Just feel this. Again, maybe the eyes are closed. Maybe we're softly focusing on one point. So we mentioned this idea of taran. Taran is where we have single pointed concentration. So now that we've got, maybe we're feeling a little more established with the breath, with the pranayam, just inhaling down toward the pelvic floor, exhaling, allowing that belly button to come in toward the spine, and just maybe elongating that exhale one beat more than the inhale. Just let that be the pranayam for now. Very simple. We are just simplifying tonight. So, feel that. Where are we clenching? Where are we tightening up? Where are we bracing ourselves? That's really what we're doing when we find ourselves holding tension. We're bracing ourselves for something. We don't need to get into what we're bracing ourselves for. Just notice. And then if your body says it's okay, then start to kind of shift your posturing so that it feels a little more established. Asana is seat. So we want to allow ourselves to be established in this seat. So maybe we can become a little more intentional. Maybe we flex those toes back. Maybe that feels good for us. Then we start to stretch the backs of the legs. Maybe we take the feet a little wider. Maybe we pull the flesh out from under our sits bones. Roll the shoulders back and down, slight tuck of the chin. Good. Now adding to that single pointed concentration, once we feel settled, once we feel established here, we can maybe use a mantra. So the mantra that I will suggest for this session is Om Namah Shivaya. I bow to that pure consciousness that is my truest nature. The self which resides in the lotus of the heart. I honor that. I call forth that sacred self to awaken, to make herself, himself, itself known within me, in my day-to-day living, in this practice. Om Namah Shivaya. So maybe we use that mantra. Maybe there's another mantra that you're working with. All of it is okay. Give yourself something to bring your awareness to so that when the mind shifts away, we have an anchor. We have something to come back to. And then from here, take an inhale. Exhale, begin to walk those hands forward. Don't push anything, just feel. This is where you might start to use that strap and just loop the strap around the soles of your feet. And it'll just give you a little more leverage so you can play around here. So now we've come forward just a little bit. We might be feeling where that tension is. So we would think that all of our tension here is in the hips, but we might be feeling it more in the shoulders. Everything is so interconnected. So breathe into whatever your experience is here. Take another inhale. Exhale, just with that ease, simply allow yourself to come forward a little more if your body says it's okay. For now, think about keeping the heart lifted. Taking an inhale, Om Namah. Exhale, Shivaya. And breathe. If your jaw is feeling tight, try taking an inhale here. Breath of Kali, exhale. Take another inhale, Om Namah. Exhale, Shivaya. Maybe we go a little deeper. Now from here, it's up to you. You might continue to keep the heart lifted and keep the spine nice and straight, long. You might begin to just give in to gravity and let everything round down. Let your chin fall toward your heart space. Let the shoulders round in. We'll be resting here for another 2 or 3 minutes, so let yourself just be very, very comfortable. You might use some blocks for support. So this is your asana. Now, I can't see you, so I can't offer personal guidance, but you have this inner guru called self. You have your body. You have all of these tools to let you know, all of these guides to let you know what you need from this practice. Letting go of what it should look like. We're not shoulding on ourselves. How can you allow this practice, this asana, this breath, to meet you exactly where and as you are? And then celebrating our willingness to do that. That's big. So just breathe. Breathe with whatever is. Om Namah Shivaya. We might notice that the more we try to bring that nose towards the knees or anything, the harder it seems to get. So again, the invitation here is to release any effort, let go of any trying, and just allow it to be. And as we surrender into where our bodies are, we offer our bodies gratitude. And we just surrender to gravity, to the moment, to our physical needs. We might find ourselves being able to go deeper into the stretch anyway. Surrender takes us a lot deeper than force does. So just trusting the process. We've got about a minute left. when and as you're ready, very, very gently, take an inhale. One last exhale here in the forward fold. And then inhale, come up so slowly, right back to that Dandasana where we began. And just take us, just a sacred pause. Notice, what are we present to now? And sometimes with these sacred pauses, I like to come back into the mudra and back into the intention, entering daily into that sacred sanctuary. Om Namah Shivaya. You might try that. And then we'll gently begin our transition into our next shape. So there's no rush. Please take your time. It's very simple, this transition. We're just going to take the left leg wide. Maybe the blanket comes with, especially if we have knees that need a little extra support. Sole of the right foot comes to the inside of the left thigh-ish on the ground, if that thigh is elevated right now. And just feel this for a moment. Notice if the mind has started going off and doing the thing that the mind does, which is think. Bring it back. Bring it back to the breath, to the pranayam. Bring it back to the asana, the seat, to this shape. What is my body doing? What is my mind doing? Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. And then inhale, lift those arms up. Pause here for a moment. Shoulders are back and down. So this requires a little bit of core strength. If this is causing you any pain, forego this. Hands just rest. We're still breathing. Om Namah Shivaya. If this is okay, arms are lifted up overhead. Shoulders pull away from the ears. So sometimes we do this. Pull those shoulders away. Just breathe. The arms don't have to be straight. That's okay. You can even cactus the arms if that feels better. And just breathe. Feel your strength, even if you don't feel so strong in this moment. Feel that strength. Trust your own process. Trust the shedding of anything that's being shed right now. The release. When we release, we make space for what's more in alignment with where we are now. And we receive that. And we allow that to nurture us and guide us until it's time for us to release that and then move on to what we will be in alignment with then. It's an ongoing process. And it is okay for us to be where and as we are. Turn to face that left leg. Take an inhale. Leading with your heart, exhale, fold forward. So very similar to what we did with that first forward fold, except now we're focusing all of our awareness on this left leg. Keep the heart lifted if you can, and just breathe here. Again, you're also welcome to use that strap. It's really, really helpful, especially if we're feeling very tight. We might be right here, and this is as far as we can fold forward, and that's okay. The practice is to accept where we are, while also creating the intention of where we want to be. But also looking at the intention for the intention. If we want to bring our nose to our knees because it looks really cool, maybe we could reframe that intention. Maybe we want to create length in our spine and in our legs because we'll feel so much better. And then we could sit and be with ourselves in our practice for longer periods of time. That's really what all of this was designed for, not for Instagram. So take another inhale here. Leading with your heart, exhale, fold maybe a little bit deeper. Good. Maybe we stay here. Breathe. Let it be okay. Take an inhale. Exhale, maybe we fold even a little bit deeper. Maybe here now we let gravity just do her job. Release, let go. Om Namah Shivaya. And again, we'll be here for about 2 minutes. Again, notice if the mind is wandering. It's okay. There's nothing to be upset about. Om Namah Shivaya. I come back to self. I come back to source. I enter into this sacred sanctuary that is my own being. I honor this vessel. I nourish my soul. I nourish my soul by nourishing this vessel. Last few breaths here. Another inhale. Exhale, maybe surrendering just a little deeper. And then inhale, coming up very slowly. Pausing here, still turned over that left leg, lifting up through the heart. Notice. Feel. Experience your own body and how it's reacting, responding to these asanas. Om Namah Shivaya. And then very gently take an inhale. Exhale, come back to center. Maybe coming back to Pad Mudra. Om Namah Shivaya. Feeling the asana, the seat. Feeling the pranayam, the breath. Feeling the power of the mudra. Feeling the power of the mantra. Om Namah Shivaya. And then let's just place that right hand on the earth. We're going to come up onto the right knee and inhale that left arm high. Just feel that stretch. Press the hips forward. Maybe head hangs heavy. If your neck says it's okay, you can look up toward that left arm. Left foot is anchored to the ground. Just breathe. About 5 breaths here. Another inhale. Exhale, bring it all back down. Lovely. So now we'll take the right leg out also. So legs are out wide here. Getting yourself situated. Firm foundation. establishing your seat, the asana. Feet are as wide as is comfortable for you. That might be way out to the side. That might be here. If this feels vulnerable and not acceptable for you for any reason, legs come right back out in front. It's absolutely okay. It's what you need. Okay. So coming to center, just feeling this. Om Namah Shivaya. Returning to center. Returning to the sankalpa, the intention. Returning to the asana, returning to the pranayam, to the mudra, and to the mantra. All of these beautiful helpers to keep us here in this moment. And then when you're ready, take an inhale, lifting up that lotus, the Pad Mudra. Exhale, fold forward like you're laying that lotus down at the feet of your beloved. Whether that's self or source, Shiva, Durga, whatever that great spirit is for you. Keeping the heart lifted, spine is straight. Take an inhale. Exhale, maybe we go a little deeper. Now, if you have really, really tight hips, this is going to be challenging. Like, this is about as far as I can go without starting to round. And that's okay. It just has to be okay. That's where I am right now. When we get triggered, our hips tighten. So if we're feeling like our nervous systems have been a little more activated lately, we're experiencing much more tension in our bodies than we might be used to. This is an opportunity for us to be aware of that and to allow that tension to be the guide showing us what we need so that we can connect with our bodies, with our hearts, with our minds, with ourselves, capital S, self. So you might stay here or take another inhale. Exhale, you might just round. You can reach for your toes if that feels appropriate for you, or you can just keep those arms out in front of you, maybe even flipping your palms up. Chin can come towards your heart space. Om Namah Shivaya. 2 minutes here. Just breathe. Good. Take an inhale. One more exhale here. And then when you're ready, inhale slowly to rise back up. Pause. Return to center. Om Namah Shivaya. In this moment, what am I present to? In this moment, how can I just meet myself where and as I am? And then we'll take that to the other side. So, might bring your legs in a little bit more. Supporting the right knee if that's what it needs. Sole of the left foot comes toward the inside of that right thigh. Go slowly because you might be feeling the inner part of that knee. Might be a little tender because the knees get a stretch on that last one also. So just be aware, be tender. Establish your seat. Feel. Notice any differences. We might notice that this time the right hip feels like it's flying up a little bit more. It's okay. It's where we are. Just breathe into it. You're okay. And then, turning to face the right leg, breathe here. Just feel that. Notice what's going on in the left side of the body as we turn to face right. Notice what's going on in the right side of the body. How are the shoulders? If it's okay for your body on this side, inhale, arms come up. Just to wherever is comfortable for you. Notice again if we start to do this rounding. It is okay, just notice. And as much as your body allows, bring the heart forward. Om Namah Shivaya. Notice what you're feeling. Notice if there's gripping. We're just trying so hard to hold this. Let's see if we can release some of that tension. Take an inhale. Breath of Kali, exhale. Beautiful. Take an inhale. Leading with your heart. Exhale, folding over that right leg. Pause. Heart is lifted. Hands are wherever is comfortable. We might be up here. It's okay. We might come down a little more. Also okay. You can also use blocks. So we have lots of support available. Please use the support. There's no shame in allowing ourselves to be supported. Okay. So we'll take another inhale. Exhale, maybe we come a little deeper. And breathe. We're simply creating space. That's all we're doing. Good. Taking another inhale, maybe we stay here. Maybe we exhale and begin to round and just release, let go. If your body is feeling really tight, you might feel this pull toward the left. So you might just take your left hand to the outside of the right leg and release here. Breathe, whatever works for you. Again, it's okay. Notice if there's gripping or holding. It creeps in, sometimes very subtly. So permission to just notice it, to invite the pranayam in, to invite the mantra in, to release, to embrace the stillness, whatever stillness is available, to allow the surrender. Surrender is just accepting what is, accepting the tension, accepting the thoughts, accepting whatever is here, and then coming back to the breath, coming back to the asana, coming back to the mantra, to the sankalpa, to the intention. Just breathe. We'll take about 3 more breaths here. And then when you're ready, inhale, come up nice and slowly. And just stay here for a moment, still facing that right leg. Return to the asana, return to the pranayam, return to the mudra, perhaps to the mantra. Om Namah Shivaya. And then when you're ready, come back to center. Keep that grounding. Keep that presence. Whatever bit of presence you have. cherishing that, drinking it in. And then left hand will come down to the ground, removing any props. Coming up onto the left knee, right foot comes to the ground, inhaling that right arm high, pressing the hips forward. This side might feel different, so you might take a different variation. It's okay. Neck might be a little more tender, so perhaps looking down at the ground, maybe just looking neutral or looking up, only if your neck says it's okay. Looking up at that right arm. Breathe. And notice if the shoulder is wanting to pull forward, keeping that shoulder in alignment with what feels proper and strong and steady for your body. Take an inhale. Exhale, bring it all back down. And just return to center. Any center pose that feels okay for you. Back to that, even Sukhasana, Padmasana, whatever feels okay for you. Back to the asana, back to the pranayam, back to the mudra, back to the mantra. Just feel. Okay. So now we're going to do a counter pose. So you have a couple of options here, and this might lead you directly into your shavasana. So you might take a couple of blankets and just stack them on top of each other. Giving your heart a lift. So this is going to be, I don't want to put my feet towards Ma. So this will be the most gentle heart opener here. Ma's kind of everywhere, so I'm going to have to be aware of where I'm pointing my feet. Okay. So you might just take a blanket or two, stack it up, and you can lay back this way. Perhaps think about keeping your legs stretched out this time. You might roll up another blanket and put it underneath your knees. That can be really nice. Like this. See? So just right under the knees. Or if you want, you can take restorative fish pose. So what that will look like, and again, different bodies are going to have different reactions to this. So this means we take a block and put it on whichever setting feels most appropriate for us. And it'll go right kind of in between the shoulder blades. And then another block that will allow us to rest our head. So you'll play around with the positioning on this. See, that's really intense. I'm just not there today. So laying back over the block, and then having this one to catch the head. Now for me, this feels really, really good. But if there's any pinching going on in your lower back, then your body is saying that it's not appropriate for you today, and that's okay. So come back to the blankets. So any variation that feels appropriate for you. And again, we'll hold this for about 3 minutes. And if you're really comfortable, you might just allow this to be your shavasana, going into shavasana from here. I'll cue you into that though. If not, just enjoy this for now, and then we'll move into shavasana in a moment. So here it's kind of, because our hearts are wide open here, we can sort of visualize the lotus sitting here, the Padma, right here in the heart. Wide open. A lotus comes up from the mud. Lotuses are mud-dwelling flowers. When they come up, they're closed up. So they're closed like this, and they come up from the mud, and then once they feel that kiss from the sun, they open. And they've got all of these petals, and they're different colors, and they're so beautiful, and they're fragrant, and they're pristine. There's no mud to be found on these flowers that live in the mud. So many of us have heard this analogy before, but this is why this flower is considered so sacred in so many faith traditions. This life, this human experience is beautiful. I love mud. It's Mama Earth and the element of water. It's fabulous. This human life is messy and it's fabulous. But when we have the ability to close up and go inward, not close off, but close up and go inward and enter daily that sacred sanctuary, then as we're rising up through the mud, through the pain, through the trauma, through the lockdowns, through all of the things that feel scary or confusing or painful, we remain unscathed. We'll still feel, we'll still experience, we're still moving, we're still present with this journey. But then we feel the kiss of that sunlight. We feel that kiss of the knowing the truth of who we are, and we can begin to open. And all of this stuff hasn't scarred us at all. Because who we really are is what's inside of this. And all of the muck and the mire that's around us, it cannot affect the truth of who we are. No matter how painful. That doesn't make it less real. That doesn't mean that we ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist. We do. We do the work. We do the work while we're rising. And we rise and we bloom and we just feel that sun. We feel that love. But then what happens to the lotus? Eventually it dies. And it seeds and it begins again. And such is life. We rise, we feel it, we feel so good. We feel like we're in alignment with where we're meant to be. And then, life happens. That part of our lives dies, but the seeds have been planted. And so the journey begins again, but this time, the pond's a little different. The perspective has changed. The roots are a little deeper. It's magical, I tell you. Okay, beloveds. You with your beautiful lotus hearts. Take an inhale. And exhale. Maybe just sing it with me once or twice. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. So now we're going to very gently transition into our final resting pose. You might stay here. I'll probably stay right here. You can take the variation with the blankets, or you can take any other variation of Shavasana that feels really safe, really nurturing, and very grounding for you. So get yourself situated. Take your time. There's no rush. You can pause the video. You have support. Please, please use the support. And as you're coming into that Shavasana, just notice even the most subtle shifting of space that's been created in your body and in your heart and in your mind. And then when you come into your final resting pose on your belly, child's pose, fetal position, or flat on your back if that's what feels best, just start to release. Do a little scan, starting from your toes all the way up. So just releasing the toes, the ankles, calves, knees, thighs. Take an inhale. Om Namah Shivaya. Loosen the hips, the belly, spine, shoulders, the chest. even imagining the lungs just being heavy, arms and elbows and wrists, fingers and thumbs, palms. Take another inhale. Om Namah Shivaya. Softening the throat, back of the neck, even the clavicle, the collarbones. Softening the jaw and the cheeks, the teeth, the nose, the ears, the eyes, forehead, back of the head, and finally crown of the head. Sahasrara, the 1,000-petaled lotus, where it is said that Shiva himself, pure consciousness, resides. Om Namah Shivaya. Rest, beloved. Jaya Shiva Shambho Mahadeva Shambho Jaya Shiva Shambho Jaya Shiva Shambho Mahadeva Shambho Jaya Shiva Shambho Mahadeva Jaya Shiva Shambho Welcome back. If you'd like to rest in Shavasana longer, please do. Just pause the video and rest. When you are ready, very gently, take an inhale and exhale. Come back to the asana. Feel the earth below you. Come back to the breath. Feel that pranayam moving through you. Maybe begin to very gently wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe coming into the mudra, depending on where you are. Come back to that mantra, Om Namah Shivaya. Maybe take that big stretch. Make your way into fetal position. So we're coming out of Shavasana, which is the pose of Shiva. Shiva is One of his many gifts is he is the Lord of death and of endings. For the sake of his grace in establishing space for new beginnings. One of Shiva's names is Shiva Shambho, the all-compassionate one. Another name is Hara Hara, the one who removes all that is not of liberation. So we emerge from the cocoon into this fetal position, the pose of Saraswati, of new beginnings, of Brahma. And just feel that. Establish yourself here. Feel the asana. Feel the pranayam. Feel the mudra. Offering of gratitude for our ancestors and the ancestors of yoga. And all of our gurus and our guides into our self. Capital S, self. And then as you're ready, no rush, very gently help yourself up into a seat. Establish your asana. Come into the pranayam. Come into the mudra. And back into the mantra. Closing your eyes if that feels comfortable. Focusing your gaze on that inner gaze, that third eye point between your eyebrows, the Agnya chakra. The power of Shiva resides right there. Breathing into that. Om Namah Shivaya. Our asana practice is coming to an end, but our yoga practice is just beginning. Yoga is what we do off the mat with what we learn while we're on it. What we come to realize, what we come home to, what we experience. The wisdom that we learn about how we could show up for ourselves that would honor our humanity and our divinity, because they are not separate from each other. Not right now. It is in the humanity, it's in this jar of clay, this earthen vessel, that Shiva, that Durga, that Christ consciousness dwells, that Buddha dwells. And that cannot be separated any more than a wave can be separated from the ocean. Where you are right now is in this amazingly messy but beautiful human experience. So what's our sankalpa for our practice? How we choose to live yoga, unity between human and divine. It is divine to be human. When we realize that, then we act in accordance with our divinity as humans. The self resides in the lotus of the heart. Knowing this, consecrated to the self, the seer enters daily that sacred sanctuary. Absorbed in the self, the seer is freed from identity with the body and emerges in pure consciousness. Om Namah Shivaya. So we'll seal our practice with singing a little bit of Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Jaya Shiva Shambho Mahadeva Shambho Jaya Shiva Shambho Mahadeva Shambho Jaya Shiva Shambho Mahadeva Shambho Om Namah Shivaya 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 Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho It is such an honor to share this practice with you. Thank you so, so much. Until next time. Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Tat Sat. Jaya Jagarambe Mata Ki. Jai Gurudev. Have a beautiful, blessed day or evening. If you're curious, the book that I was reading from is The Path of Practice, which has some, it's by Maya Tiwari, and it has some really, really beautiful stories of Shiva and the mother and different things, but it's all about living this practice of yoga and Ayurveda. So I do encourage you to pick this up if you're interested. Jai Ma. Namah Shivaya.